And we are live. I'm here with Matt Warner, and every time I see Matt, he's got a beer in his hand. I was sure that that was a beer, and it just paying some tribute. I got a beer out just for this discussion, man. It,
Oh, and here I am with my bougie bubbly water.
that's hilarious.
I'll just
That's
pretend it's
great.
beer.
All right, that's fine. We'll definitely have to drink a beer together at some point.
Oh, we're gonna drink more than one. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, sure, Bob. So I just want to jump right into this, man. We have an awesome weekend lined up. You were nice enough to allow me to come hang out with you at a really cool location, and where is that?
Oh man, I'll tell you, we're both crossing off the bucket list this weekend. Hinsdale House out in Hinsdale, New York, man. I'm jazzed for this one.
Yeah,
Can't even
honestly,
wait.
I don't know that much about the Hinsdale House. Can you tell us a little bit about it and like why it's famous and stuff?
I wish I could, but I like to go in blind, and I didn't read much up on it either. I've heard from a lot of our friends and peers and whatnot that a lot of energy, and I said, you know what, I just want to go in blind and see what happens. So I'm definitely excited to see where we go with it. But I don't know much of the history, so I guess on our road trip we can look into it.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of agree with that. I kind of like going in blind to places. Today, dude, I did something that I've seen you do a lot, and that's this like urban exploring kind of stuff. And I went into a really crazy old abandoned it's really I think an elementary school. And dude, it was crazy, man. Like I heard kids, like legit, like I swear to you, Matt, like I heard kids playing and I heard voices and stuff. When you're on these like explorations in the like urban areas, do you ever run into like ghost activity like that?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's not. I mean, most of the urbex that I do during the daytime because you look a lot less shady if you're sneaking around in the day, so less activity for the police. But I've seen things, heard things, and you scratch your head. But if you think about it, energy itself can't be created or destroyed; it just moves on. And if you have all these memories attached to this location, why couldn't you have that residual, noise and all that? That's we're all trying to find it. But I've had a lot of experiences like that myself.
Like where at? And like, can you tell me about one of your experiences or something?
So the most recent urbex that we did, we went to. I won't say the name of the hospital, but it's a hospital that's been abandoned for quite some time. And when we were down, we were looking for the morgue itself because I like to take pictures in morgue trays, like every normal human being. And it's pitch black down the basement. Everything's pretty well unscathed. Not a lot of graffiti and trash. It smelt like death in there. Like I don't know what death smells like because I'm not around it, but that smell I smelled in that tray. This is I'm assuming what death smells like, and I got that weird vibe. And while we were walking around, we all encountered some shadow peripheral stuff, and you can't explain that. Any noises we heard, we believe were other explorers because we did run into a few while we were out there. We did jump out and scare them for fun, but there was a lot of unexplained things out there for sure.
Nice. That's cool. What other places have you been?
So we've done a few different. We've done a school in Mass, that hospital in Mass, a hospital down in Connecticut. I've been to Kings Park Psychiatric Hospital out in Long Island, which is massive campus. And the cool thing about that is it's on public property. It's now like a state park, not allowed into the buildings. If it's open and there's no sign, whatever. I mean, it's very easy to get around these places, but we try to go and find places whenever we can. Because I honestly like doing urbex equally, if not more, than ghost hunting. Because I'm really into history and architecture and just feeling the past through what I see in my eyes. And I love photography too. So all these things all play together. And I'm always looking for new places. But urbex people, like the legit urbex people, do not share locations. They want nothing to do with that. So
Yeah,
it's a lot of legwork to find them.
yeah. Luckily, I have a good friend of mine, and she's really into this, and she doesn't share her locations with really anybody, but she was nice enough to share some with me. And one of those locations, you and I, and actually Joe Renoni, are going to go out and investigate here really soon, and that's
Yeah,
called the Elan School. I'm saying it out loud because I'm going to be putting it on Patreon because I started a Patreon page and I'm going to live feed the whole investigation through Patreon. So I'm pretty stoked about that. But
that
yeah,
place
this
looked awesome from what you sent me, man. I can't wait to go there.
Dude, that place is like really crazy. It reminds me a lot of like Pinhurst, you know, where Pinhurst has this really like dark history associated with it. This place also has a really dark history associated with it. They basically did like I don't know, man, they called it like invasive therapy, or I don't know. To me, man, they were trying to beat the sense out into them, and it didn't work. So basically, what they would take troubled kids and then beat them to try to get them to um, basically be accepted into society or something, or change their ways, whatever you want to call it. And it definitely didn't work. The whole school got shut down, I believe, in the mid '90s. And it's been shut down ever since. The way I found out about it was a good friend of mine, like one of my best friends. She was actually abducted. She was like scooped up by some people on her way to go camping, I believe, and kidnapped and then taken to this school. And then she had to stay there for her entire high school career, and she was forced to stay there. And that's how I found out about it initially. And then this person let me know that we can actually kind of get into the property because of some contacts or whatever. But yeah, make a long story short, man, we're gonna go out there and investigate this place, and I'm pretty stoked about it.
I'm excited for that opportunity. That's going to be, I can't imagine the dark, sorrowful energy that's going to be in that place. Because from what
Yeah,
I watched, what you shared with me, that they did some pretty shitty things to people there.
yeah. One thing that they did was they would take two kids when they had a problem with each other and put them into a boxing ring. They put boxing gloves on them and have them fight each other until they couldn't fight anymore. And one kid back in the mid '80s actually passed away from it. And so I do know there was at least that death that happened there at the school due to abuse. So you know, I'll be trying to do some research and find out who that was and find out his name and go from there. Uh, but yeah,
That's cool.
I'm excited to get on that and investigate it, man. Like it's one of those ones that I think are really cool.
I love that it's an unknown gem. It's not one of the big ones that everybody's done, and those are my favorite. That's why, like, whenever I can with my team, we like to do the historical restoration stuff. Like this old house in New England, you know, we have the oldest history in the country, so we're fortunate to be able to walk into these time capsules and being able to preserve history by doing these events at lesser known places. That's the way to go,
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's the most rewarding thing, you know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I keep talking about these POW camps that are in northern Maine too, and I really want to go and investigate those. And you're more than welcome
Yep.
to go, man. I mean, it's going to be pretty legitimate. We have to hike in about a mile and a half in order to get there, um, and it's just a legit old POW camp. They used to take the people that were captured in Germany and then bring them into Maine because it was so desolate. They knew they weren't going to try to escape because they ended up dying trying to escape. So anyway,
Wow.
they basically just brought them in and put them up in the middle of Maine, man. And after the war, they tore down the camps, and there's some stuff still left. There's some relics, you know, but mainly it's all just been flattened. But the energy has to still be there, man. The history of the place is still there. So I want to
Oh
go and
yeah.
investigate that too.
I remember you mentioned that to me prior. That's something I'd definitely be interested in also.
Yeah.
Do you have a metal detector?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be something cool to metal detect there.
Yeah. We'll bring that with us for sure, man. I think that'd be important. Is there any
I'll
kind
bring
of
the beer.
all right, yeah, that works. Metal detector and beer. Is there any places that are kind of on your bucket list that you want to go to like that?
Oh man, well, I mean, there's a lot of places on my bucket list. And this year, I mean, granted, we're already halfway through a really bogus year. I'm trying to make the most of the second half of it. And so Hinsdale was always on my list. And then actually next weekend, I'm flying down to Tennessee to go to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. That's been on my list for a while. And just in this country alone, I still want to go to Trans Allegheny. I've talked, Joe Raynone and I have talked in depth about going to Trans Allegheny, and that's something that we need to figure out. If I'm going to go to West Virginia, I might as well do Moundsville while I'm there too, because
Dude,
two
I've been
trips, why
there.
not?
I've
Have
been
you?
there. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We had a legit experience there too. Like this was before I really got hardcore into like ghost hunting. It was
Mm-hmm.
myself, actually the girl who was in that school I was telling you about, and then another friend of mine, AJ. We stopped at Moundsville and asked if we could take the tour. So we were like basically taking the tour, and I was up in front of Michelle and AJ, probably about 20 paces or so, and basically I heard them say, "Did you see that?" And I turned around and looked at them, and they were really far apart, and they had been walking close together. So evidently, they saw what they thought was someone walking towards them. They just thought it was a person. They separated and let this person walk between them, and then they
Wow.
realized he kind of like disappeared as he walked by. And so, yeah, that kind of freaked him out pretty bad, man. That was crazy.
Those are the best kind of experiences, man. I've told people all along, I'm not very good at evidence review or any of that crap. I like to just have my personal experiences and have fun. I'm not trying to put out content and have people tell me it's not real. Like, I don't care about that anymore. I just want to have fun with people, and I have a lot of personal experiences, and no one can take that from me.
Yeah, that's so important, man. I've got a ton of personal experiences that I'd say most people wouldn't even believe. I mean, things that happened at the Conjuring House, things I never caught
Yeah.
on video, and things that were my own experience, and
Mm-hmm.
there's no way to share those things other than just tell people. But when you tell people, you can't convey your feelings and the emotion and all the crap that you're going through right at that moment, for example, one day I was walking through the Conjuring House, and I was walking from what we call the safe room into the kitchen. So like you have to walk through what you call the seance room. You know where I'm talking about. The library is
Mm-hmm.
off to your left hand side. So I'm walking through there, and I hear this boom, 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 like little kid footsteps, like running through the hall. Swear to God, man, it was just like right there, and there was no mistaking it. It happened, but like
Yeah.
we didn't. Those are the things that you can't catch on camera. Those are the things that end up being just personal experience. But they're sometimes the most powerful experiences.
Oh, 100%. Like the night that I stayed there and my key went missing and it just fell out of my friggin' hat in the driveway. Like that's the most bizarre thing that's ever happened to me. And I'll never be able to explain that. It doesn't add up. Tried to recreate everything, and I remember leaving there shaking my head. I was like, I don't know what that was, but it's definitely some sort of trickster spirit in this house.
Yeah, what Matt's talking about is he came there and stayed the night one night, and he couldn't find his keys in the morning. It looked everywhere. I mean, absolutely everywhere. And yeah, you can finish the story, man.
Yeah, so we're all searching through the house, and I have a Jeep, so we were able to unzip one of the windows and crawl in to see if I left the key in there, which is impossible because it was locked. You can't lock it from and leave the key. So then the alarm starts going off. It's like 7:30 in the morning. I'm worried I'm going to wake up everybody, and I wear my hat backwards, so I kind of just like did one of these and like a frustration, and I looked down the ground, and the key fell out of the front of my hat, and I just looked at it. I'm like, what the hell? I bent over, picked the key up, stopped the alarm. And then I was trying to figure out how that key could have possibly been in my hat. So I tried to recreate it by popping it in my hat, putting it on. It was uncomfortable. Tucked it into the band of the hat. It dug into my head. I would have known it was there. It was not there. So something didn't want me to go right away or to let me know that it was there. And I respect that spirit, and I know it's there.
Oh, it's so crazy. Yeah, we have stuff move around in the house all the time, so I don't doubt that, man. Like I really don't. I've seen like balls like roll off of radiators, or roll around the floor, and I don't know, other
Mm-hmm.
things in the house move around. So why not your keys? It's
Why,
crazy.
why not the key? Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to get back. They had so many cool experiences. I want to see if I have more. And it's definitely a special location for sure.
Oh, it really is, man. And I was so lucky to be able to live there for like I don't know from June until now. So basically, damn near a year.
Yeah.
Damn near a year. And now I'm back home in Maine, and I've already missed it. I've only been gone for a couple weeks, man. And I'm Jones, and I really want to get back there. But
Oh,
yeah,
I bet. I bet.
yeah, I'm gonna be heading down there on Thursday. Well, no, yeah, Thursday, because I'm gonna stay the night there on Thursday, and then head over to your place on Friday, and then to the Hinsdale house. Man, I'm gonna have to do some research now. I don't know what the hell the Hinsdale house even is. I really want to know.
I I don't know either. I've looked just briefly, but I didn't pay attention to it because like what I like to do in terms of going into a place, if I go in blind and then happen to capture an EVP with a name, it's more believable if you're like, oh, this thing said Mary. It's like, oh my God, this was Mary's house. Versus if someone's like, this is Mary's house, you might be predisposed to hear that.
All right.
So like whenever we do stuff with a team, I have my teammate Courtney. She's our researcher. She's the one that knows all the history. And I just say, don't tell me until afterwards. And we'll see if we can corroborate anything along those lines.
Right, right. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if anybody's watching and they have any questions, you can type your questions in and they should pop up, I think. I think I have all the chat going now. But yeah, so Matt and I are definitely going to be heading to the Hinsdale house. You kind of talked about the possibility of stopping some other places on the way.
Yep. So that's what I was going to add. Also, is we are going to stop by the Wildwood Sanatorium and do the tour over there. I've never been there either. So, also the surprise to you, I figured I talked with her. So we're meeting up with Crystal Lee. I know you know
Oh
Crystal.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So she's the one that put this Hinsdale House thing together, and it's just her and her friend. And the cool thing for the viewers, they're both deaf. So Bill and I are going to be the only people with ears in that house that are going to be able to hear anything. They're amazing, incredible investigators using their other senses, and so we're going to get to be the ears, and we're going to get to see them in action, and it's going to be just this incredible thing. But Crystal was asking if I would like to check out Wildwood, and of course, if I'm going to be out that way, I might as well make the most of the trip. So spend a couple of bucks, we get to go see Wildwood, and I know they're working on some restoration projects right now. They need a new roof, so the money that we spend to go see that place and get the tour will go to fixing it up and restoring the history of it. So,
Yeah.
and if we have time, we'll stop at a big antique mall and try and buy some haunted stuff.
I'm down, man. It sounds like a good time to me.
It's going
So
to be a hell of a
Crystal,
weekend.
dude, Crystal Lee is really cool. The first time I met her at the Lizzie Borden house. We were on an investigation together, and as soon as I found out she was deaf, I had no idea she was an investigator at this point. I was like, I want to use you because I know that you have special powers. So,
That's
dude,
exactly it. I feel the same way, man. I
yeah,
met her. Where the hell? I met her at the Plymouth Paracon for the first time, and we had a table, and she came up, and we had some of our dolls out, and she was talking to us. I didn't realize she was deaf at first, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Shit, she's deaf," but like, you wouldn't know. And when
no,
she invited me along for this, I said, "Well, I might be ignorant, but I don't know any sign languages, but I'm down for this." And she's, "Oh, well, we'll figure it out." So I'm excited, man. It's definitely going to be a cool experiment, and I just can't wait.
yeah, yeah, I can't wait as well. Man, when I was working with Crystal, like I asked her to go down in the basement of the Lizzie Borden house, and there in the basement, if you walk all the way to the other side, there's like this little cubby hole in there, like
That
it's
weird storage area.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's it.
Yep.
And so I put a chair in there, and then had her sit down there by herself while we had a camera on her, and just had her alone. For like I think I kept her down there for like 10 minutes, and it was like, did you like experience anything when you were down there? And she was like, I heard something, and I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, like I've never actually heard anything before, but I heard what sounded like machinery. And so she thought she heard machinery running while she was down there, and that was pretty cool because that was for her the first time she said she had ever really heard anything like that. And
What an incredible
yeah,
experience.
I don't know, but I am more than willing to use those people to hopefully be able to connect to something that you and I can't connect with because we've kind of shut that off for us. You know what I'm saying?
Right. We can only do so much. Absolutely. And I'm
You lost
learning.
your audio,
Um,
Matt.
you lost it? Can you hear me now?
Huh. Strange. All right. So anyway, we have some technical difficulties. We're gonna go ahead and cut it off anyway because Matt evidently needed to get to work later anyway. I'm not sure what
I'm still
happened,
here.
but that's life. Anyway, yeah, I would definitely be back later, and Matt and I will be back live coming up here in just a few days. We're going to be going to the Hinsdale house and a couple other spots. So check us out live. I'll be on Patreon as well. So anyway, hope you guys have a good day. Talk to you soon.